Okay, so welcome to another video, guys. Today we will be climbing in our road to Ultimate Champion series. I recently found this deck, which was being played by one of the pros, and I decided to give it a try, and so far it's been working for me. I have it a bit under leveled, since where I'm at right now, the cap is level 13. I do have the Dark Prince and the Poison at level 12. I think I just upgraded the Poison. But so far it's going really well. You can see in this first game I'm actually facing up against an Elixir Golem and Elixir Collector player. I decided to go for a Miner and poison the Collector to try and take it out. I'm not a big Miner player, so I don't usually know what to do in the types of Collector when you're facing against a Collector, or how to place your Miners and do it perfectly. But you can see that even if I'm not a Miner player and this deck is working really well for me, even if it's a bit under leveled, then you guys should probably try it out, because right now it is really strong and it's working well so far. You can see he goes with his usual push. It's good because I have an Inferno Tower to deal with his push. However, he does have an Electro Dragon to stop my Inferno Tower, so I do have to be careful with that. Place units far away from my Inferno Tower and always be using their Royal Delivery to just demolish his Electro Dragon. You can see the Dragon Phoenix combo is actually really powerful. They managed to take down my Dark Prince, and I do have to waste some goblins defending that. I forgot he had Tornado, and I decided to Miner in the back. So then that was an easy king activation for him. And now it's just about getting back to 10 elixir and starting to cycle with the poisons. Here you can see that I'm actually doubting whether to use poison on the Collector, because I don't know if it's worth it or not. But since I was a full elixir, I said, well, that's better than nothing. Here I decided to attack because I cannot let him have two elixir pumps at the same time without me doing anything. And I try to take it down with a Miner, and he just battle heals it and uses a Phoenix in the back, which makes me believe that he will start an attack. And I'm correct, I predict with the Inferno Tower. And at this point, I kind of realize that I'm going to have to use Poison and Royal Delivery on defense if I want to have any chance to survive his attacks. And here I actually survive it pretty well, and I'm going to keep Minering every time he attacks me. I'm going to try my best to send in a Miner mid-attack, because he will lose focus on his attack, or he will be too focused on his attack to pay attention to my Miner, and that will allow me to actually get a couple of hits with the Miner. Here you can see that we're actually defending really well. The Royal Delivery does great against air units, even though it's not an air unit. And if we get the chance to poison two towers and an Elixir Collector, you know we're going to take it. Here we drop down again the Inferno Tower. It's a bit high, which made me worry about the E-Drag. However, he did not have it in hand, or he did not want to use it. And he gets it really late, which helps me just use a Poison and the Royal Delivery to get all of this cleaned up. He drops another one. I'm actually not too sure why. I think he thought the Phoenix would have survived. And then he drops the E-Golem very high up and alone, which it's basically just free elixir for my Inferno Tower. However, look at this nice counterattack that we get. We can poison the Drake if he puts it in the back. He does not manage to defend the goblins, which do actually get a lot of hits. The Royal Delivery gets a lot of hits on the tower as well, and it's really strong. And the poison leaves the tower in 6 of elixir. So I start thinking that I can defend this attack and just wanting to show you guys how strong the defense is, but then I do not want to lose it, and I end up logging the tower. So that is the first victory of today. We're moving on to the second match of the day, which will be against Alfredo. As you can see, we're almost in the champion leagues. We still have this league to clear. And right now, I don't remember what kind. I think we're facing kind of a log bait deck. So at the start of matches, what you really want to do is just hold on to your cards and see what kind of deck they're playing, to see if they have good answers for your Miners, what kind of cards you have to save in order to counter their win conditions, and just what kind of playstyle you have to adopt. So here we, for example, thought that it was a that it was a log bait deck. However, we saw an E-Wiz, we saw a Lit Barbarian, so that draws us to believe that it is not that. It just drops a bomber, and instead of going for the minor and attack, I prefer to defend. He shows the P.E.K.K.A, which is a really important card for us to know, because that means that we need to save the Inferno Tower at all times. And then realizing that he's pairing that Inferno Tower with that P.E.K.K.A with the E-Wiz is a bit dangerous. And now he shows that he has a zap. That was a very bad zap on his part because he doesn't gain anything from it. However, we do have to be very cautious, knowing that he can pair his P.E.K.K.A with the E-Wiz at any time, and that can honestly be very scary for us. We try to go with a miner and some goblins. However, I do believe he stops it right away with the bomber. The miner does get a bit of chip though, but now we have to focus on this defense, which is going to be very painful, very difficult. We use an under-level Dark Prince. We then use the Ice Spirit and the Log, but our tower is down to 1813, which is not a good start. However, that was a mistake by us. We used too much elixir. We overcommitted. He understood that we had overcommitted, and he countered while we didn't have that much elixir. So from now on, we're going to be a lot more cautious with our cards. And one thing you have to understand about this deck is that you basically win on any type of chip damage that you can do to their tower. Whether it's the miner getting some hits off, or very important, the poison. Every tick that the poison leaves on the tower is what is actually going to win you the game, because I think you actually end up having more damage done by the poison than by the miner at the end of the game, which is a bit toxic of a deck, but I think it's really good. Here, for example, you can see how dangerous the P.E.K.K.A with the E-Wiz is. However, we do manage to kill the E-Wiz, thank God, because if not, that was getting to the tower and it was looking scary. He decides to P.E.K.K.A the bridge, which is a very bad play, and here you can see that Royale Delivery is really, really good against E-Wiz and just any type of attacks that have a frontline unit and then like a very squishy backline unit, because it deals a lot of damage and it tends to land on the backline unit. Here we do a counterattack, and I believe that our Dark Prince finishes up the bomber, which he does. And now we have to save up for the Royale Delivery against the E-Barbs and kite them to the middle with the goblins. This defense is pretty cool, and it would have been a lot better if any goblin would have survived, but he had the arrows for that. As you can see, we're just going to keep poisoning in order to get more damage and try to equal him. And whenever we believe like he doesn't have the damage, we'll just miner as soon as we can. The Royale Delivery again to kill some of the goblins so that they don't get in the way when he zaps. It was pretty well done. And then a miner and a poison to just follow the counterattack. I actually missed the poison on the bomber, and I suffer really bad from this. However, by having a nice spirit and the Royale Delivery, you can see how easy it actually is to defend very scary pushes. All we had to do there was, and we were down on elixir, was place a Royale Delivery. We had logged before and then put a nice spirit, and all of that was immediately done. Another miner with a poison. You can see that their tower is already at 1000, and under 1000 is going to be after the poison or after the log. And right like that, we actually reclaim the win. And now you can see just the disgusting damage that the Royale Delivery does. It's really broken, and I don't think that it's getting the attention it deserves. So if you use it right now, you will be really fine. And if you learn how to use it, because the timings on the Royale Delivery are a bit difficult to learn, since it takes a lot of time to actually land. If you do manage to learn it, you will become unstoppable, because this deck is just very broken. Here we get the last damage we needed to win the game. And like that, this was a comeback win against Alfredo. And now we're just going to show you the third and last replay, which was the last one that we will be showing in this league before we move on to champion. Here you can see what I'm saying about the Royale Delivery. The timings against the goblin, against the skeleton barrel, for example, are very difficult. And now we choose to go very aggressive with a miner and a poison, although he has the minions, which allows our Royale Delivery to get 2 hits on the tower, I believe. 2 hits on the tower, which, remember what I told you, any kind of chip damage is incredible. So if you can get 2 hits by a Royale Delivery, it's very, very big for your deck. Here he shows a Mega Knight, which I believe is a card that is very useful in lower arenas. However, when you start getting to the top, I think it becomes very easy to take care of, as long as you do not overcommit your elixir. I think it's a card that if they place it once you're low on elixir, it's one of the scariest cards to defend against. However, if they place it and you're ready for it and you have the elixir, it's one of the easiest to defend, since it costs 7 elixir and with 5 you can defend it fully in a lot of instances. So you can see we're always cycling back to our Royal Delivery to have it on hand against their Skeleton Barrel, and we're always trying to poison the Princess, since that's the way we're gonna take down their towers, just by ticking with the poison. Here we're a bit late with our goblins, however, since they survive, we decide to go for a counterattack. They get a couple stabs on the tower, which is always good, and then we just need an Ice Spirit and a Dark Prince against the cards that he's shown. Here we actually have the log on hand, so we're going to use the log against the Skeleton Barrel since the timing is easier, and then it can knock back the P.E.K.K.A, the mini P.E.K.K.A back, which leaves our underlevel Dark Prince with enough HP to take down a couple of these goblins, a lot more than what we actually believed. When you know they have a princess, you want to place your goblins like that in the middle, or you want to place different cards in the middle of the arena. It can be goblins, it can be an Ice Spirit every once in a while, just in case they decide to go with a princess at the bridge, because that is one of the cards that is very scary to actually defend once it locks into your tower. Here you can see that we tried to defend against the Mega Knight without using the Inferno Tower, because he was putting too many cards in front of the Mega Knight, and the Inferno Tower would have locked into the smaller cards. And we managed to defend it really well by using our Miner in defense, and then again poisoning the Princess and the tower, so we can get a lot more damage. Right now we're in a really good spot. We just have to keep doing the same thing we had been doing, defending it the same way. And now here we actually put the Inferno Tower on the left side. And this is due to the fact that we knew his minions were going to appear on the middle of the bridge. And when you're defending against decks that attack every single time in the same way, you want to switch up your defenses so that they cannot predict what your next move is going to be like. That's why I placed the Inferno Tower on the left side instead of in the middle. And then once again, a Miner with a poison, which got a lot of value because it killed a Princess and the Goblin Gang. Here we're going to do a quick Inferno Tower again. You can see that he put the minions in the middle once again, and now he actually separated his Dark Goblin from the tower, so we cannot hit both at the same time. Regardless, we decide to go again with our favorite combo, which is the Miner Poison, which will get us assured damage. And look, it kills the Goblin Gang, and he has to drop a mini P.E.K.K.A to defend that. One thing you have to keep in mind is that Miner Poison, you should only do it when you have successfully defended or have an elixir lead, and it is overtime, because that's when you start to get triple elixir or double elixir, and you can actually afford to spend 7 on an attack. If you do that in single elixir time, you must have a very big elixir advantage for it to not end in a disaster. And here you can see that he has 230, so basically one more poison wins us the game. But we want to make it quick and also add in a Miner and defend just in case our math was wrong, and here we win. So thank you for watching. Please like and comment and subscribe. I'll see you in the next video.